Previously on Redbeard's Garage. Alright, now we got the diff all installed. We have to, basically the Super Deuces came with the steering rack. This one did not. This is a Poopy Deuce. It has just standard go-kart push rod steering. Don't laugh at that. Poop is not a funny word. It's a bodily function. Mess.
And potty talk is not funny.
Potty talk is not funny. Come on, man. Be mature for a day. Just a day is all I'm asking. But basically, the Super Deuce had a rack, and all they did was weld a piece of 1/4-inch thick plate. Dry cough. 1/4-inch thick plate across this, and then mounted the rack on it, and they only used one side of the rack to push the tie rod. It's a pretty dope, nasty setup. So we're going to do the same exact thing. So we need to remove these tie rods that I made. Then we got to cut this brace off because we don't need this in the floor anymore, which is going to open up a lot of room for pedals. We got those Willwood pedals we showed, and we got to cut all this off. Then this is going to be the crappy part. We got to cut this weld so we can re-angle this, because this is going to have to be bent up to go basically like this into the rack. So once we get that, we can run brake lines, and then we can swap spindles out, because these spindles are bent from where we snorted it across the driveway. Play that beautiful beam footage. Okay. Someone has swapped out the bolt. You must have, and that's not the right size. I don't know. It's probably like, I don't know. But this is supposed to be 1/2-inch bolts, and that is not a 1/2-inch bolt. These are good Heim joints, though. We'll be able to reuse these Heim joints.
Bryson, why don't you just carry the whole thing over here?
Because I can't afford it. It's too heavy. Gosh, dang gosh.
I hate
Watch your mouth.
things I've chosen to do in this career.
Okay, friend.
Okay, if that socket is a different size, then that wrench ain't gonna fit it.
Yeah, but at the bottom, oh yeah, you're indeed correct, my guy.
Oh, what was cool is I put a new battery on this, and all my wiring still works flawlessly. So that's pretty sick. We do have to swap out. He went with a deep cycle battery on this, but we put this breaker switch so you could kill all power to the back. But the only problem is it's 100 amp, and it should have been like a 300 amp. And I don't think I have a 300 amp to swap it out. If not, we're gonna go to Rural King and buy a big disconnect like you put on a race car. You're not on the bolt anymore. You're not on the bolt anymore.
Oh, you're right, my guy. Oh, great. This is stuff.
I'm gonna go in the house. I'll see you in an hour.
Lord, bear me strength to not punch Greg in the face.
Why are you holding the wrench? Listen, son. No, don't do it with the ratchet side. If you hold the wrench like this where your finger's underneath, then look, my finger is holding it at the right height. Then you can take it. You're out here
This finger's
freaking
worth $1
pole
million.
vaulting it. You're pole vaulting it, and you
This
can't.
finger is worth a lot of money.
Well, to you, but no one else.
Well. Look at that. Look what you did. It works, Greg.
But look, someone replaced this bolt. I'm not gonna say who because I didn't do it. Look at that. Why? Why would you do that? What?
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Alright, now we have to go to cutting stuff. I had a pair out.
Hey, while you're looking for tools, our April meetup has been canceled.
Yep, Corona got it.
And the paint swap meet with Go Power Sports has been moved to October.
Yeah, so we will reschedule at a later date when we find out what's going on. But hope everybody's being safe, because it looks like this ain't nothing to mess with, like the Wu-Tang Clan. We'll look back at this one day and say, man, I wish that wouldn't have killed me. We're gonna go with Small Daddy, then we'll upgrade to Medium Daddy, then we'll go to Big Daddy. Oh yeah, we got it. Oh, look at that. See that? Okay, so that's still bolted down there, which is fine. Hammer. Hey. Okay. So that's the steering setup. Go Power Sports sells pre-bent 180s.
Forgot about that.
You can buy 4 things just like this. That's what they're made for. So we're ready to mount the rack on this Deuce. Now the Super Deuce, as I was saying, basically has a plate of steel welded across these 2 bars where you can see that I've got the paint sanded. We was going to mount the pedals first, but we think we need to mount the rack first to make sure our pedals aren't going to get into the rack and the steering, of course. So we got this 1/4" plate. It's going to weld across there like that. I'll be able to get a good fat bead on each side of it. Then the rack will have ears that drop down from this and are welded to this. That'll go up to the same rack I used on my buggy. So this is a billet rack off Amazon. But it's simple. Is the rack will mount like this right here, and you only steer off this side of the rack. So your tie rods, I'll build an adapter for this that drops down and sends the tie rods over to each side. So this side's just capped off. Pretty interesting. So I'm going to get some metal tacked on, make the little brackets for the steering rack, and we can start. And we're also going to cut this steering hoop off and put a shorter one, the Go Power Sports hoop. We're going to cut it down and lift the steering wheel probably like 3 inches to right here, make it more comfortable.
Up a new skill. On this beautiful
a rug, a Afghan.
Is it though?
It's like if you're wanting to stay warm and cold at the same time. You want to get covered up and catch a breeze. Alright, we got one more tie rod to make, and then...
You know, it's funny though, all grandmothers get those. All of them.
They're warm though. I think they're okay. Alright. You don't have to continue to film. So Evolution sent us this saw to try out, and it is sick. We was using that Harbor Freight saw, and it's garbage. I gave it to Braxton because he's garbage. But this Evolution, no joke, cuts stuff in 1/10 of the time. It's insane. This is just 14 gauge steel, so nothing crazy, but watch how fast it cuts it. And it's cold right after you cut it. So I think they sell these at, I think they sell these saws at I think Home Depot and Lowe's, but links will be in the description. You got to check it out because I am in love, faux show. I love it. And we're cutting the last tie rod, and I can get it welded up. And the clamp on this, it's everything about this saw. Basically, the Harbor Freight's all stamped steel, really crusty water. And basically, as long as you got the clamp down, like push down, it's going to cut a perfect straight cut every time. And all this is cast aluminum, so it's way beefier. I mean, just everything about it. The whole clamp, like I said, the clamp's way better. The whole angle set up is just, it's crazy how I've lived without this saw. It does throw some chips, but she cuts. Sweet. Love it. Thank you, Evolution. You're my friend. Now I gotta clean this up. We do have to open this up just a fuzz to fit these heim joints, and then we can get her TIG welded up and looking all fancy pants. Volkswagen thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do. That one thing. Oh.
What thing?
Thing.
Yeah, I know. It's actually
Thing 1 or thing 2?
Both.
Both.
Okay, so this is really low. This is like crotch level. So we're gonna bring this up to like right in here. So the steering wheel will protrude past this bar, but it's gonna make everything nicer. And then this gauge, I'm gonna weld the front of it, round off all the corners, make it look nice, and we're just gonna leave it like that. I may look at building a cap basically that goes over this. Okay. But just depends.
Snap in place.
Like a Ziploc. So we're just gonna cut this weld where the key switch is welded on and cut these two.
Couldn't it have been the other way though on the notches?
Thanks for noticing now.
I noticed it as you were cleaning them. I was like, wait a second.
Gosh, you're neat.
Listen, no one was here calling names, and then Braxton comes.
And then there's
Like
names.
Lonnie didn't say, "You're an idiot. You messed up on that." He said, "Hey, friend, you might have messed up on that. Take a gander at it." Come on, man.
I'm turning to Braxton. I'm around bad.
Examples.
Trash in, trash out.
It's garbage in, garbage out.
That's how you do it.
Oh my gosh, man.
Quit. It's my toy. Quit.
Y'all better
Quit.
stop. Somebody's gonna get hurt in a minute.
Okay, Mom.
Women.
But now you're like a school bus.
But I mean, it's still too. Well, it will be sank in a lot. I'm gonna drop it in all the way to here, so it'll be
more like that. That
More
seems
like
nice.
so.
That is nice.
That is nice. So nice.
That's your move.
Should I TIG this too?
Yeah.
You dang right, I should TIG it. TIG's my life now. Hashtag
you gotta
well.
get that.
Find me. Hashtag well porn.
You gotta get that tattoo/shirt.
Which one?
TIG life.
TIG life. And I'm going to put a flatbed on my F-150 with work boxes and a welder, but I don't weld outside of this garage. So it's just, I'm going to try to find the case to a welder, you know, with no guts in it, and then like a messed up tank so I can put it just for looks.
I don't like the way you talking about me. When my name comes up, put some respect on my name.
Okay.
Let me tack it. Nowhere near exactly. Okay. Okay, so the steering is all set up and done. We do still need to swap out the spindles on each side where Penny Pincher and me and Lonnie jumped the driveway. She's been up quite a bit. So here's how the steering ended up being. We had to drop that rack down quite a bit, and I haven't welded this side, but we got our tie rods running off that center point. We basically squatted the suspension down to half travel and set the tie rods flat. We have no toe in or toe out. So we at first matched the Super Deuce. Super Deuce rack is up significantly higher than this one. When we did that, we had toe in and toe out during suspension travel. So if you have a Super Deuce, you're going to want to lower your rack, you know, where your tie rods are straight when your suspension is halfway squatted. That's going to get rid of your toe in and toe out. So we had to put this cross brace here. Again, we need to fully weld it to give our steering rod a secondary support. And we put the new steering wheel hoop and raised the steering wheel about 3 to 4 inches. So that's all done. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use the Willwood pedals because we just don't have the floor room. And what's frustrating is we've already cut off all the stock pedal mounts. Like this side had a piece of tube for a bolt to go through. So we got to add all that back and put the original pedals back onto it, which is no big deal, but it just sucks that we went through the headache of cutting them off and now have to put them back on. So we are still going to use the Willwood master cylinder. We just have to do a push rod setup to it and keep pumping on. So guys, the Deuce is almost completely done. We got to do the brake setup and then do a few little things on the rear and tune up that engine. It needs an oil change, spark plugs, the valves adjusted, things like that. So we'll be ripping on this thing in no time. But make sure to check out the links in the video's description. Those do help us continue to do these videos, and everything we've used on this Deuce in the past and on today's video will be linked down there. We're not going to end up using those Willwood pedals. We just don't have enough floor space, so I actually bought them from the customer, you know, just giving him trade-in credit for them off of labor. So that works out good for him and works out good for me because we can use them on some other buggy in the future. But let us know what you think by commenting down below. Hope everybody's being safe during these crazy times, and just hope you guys are enjoying the videos. We got a video coming out Friday, and we should have 3 videos coming out the next 2 weeks, so look forward to that. And thank you guys so much for watching. Huge shout out to Go Power Sports for sponsoring these videos. Like I said, their links are in the video's description, and they telling them that Redbeard sent you when you check out helps us out tremendously. So help us out, fellas. We got an awesome product coming from Quantum Machinery Group, hopefully on Friday. I'm so stoked about it, and so we'll be making a video on that. But we love you guys, and God bless.